All right, so we are here to go ahead and get into 2.4. We're getting close to the end of this chapter and to our next test. So we're going to make sure we're kind of ready. So let's go into 2.4. Okay, so 2.4 is equations of lines. Okay, so as we get started, we're going to talk about slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is this formula right here. Okay, it's y is equal to mx plus b. It's called slope-intercept form because it gives us a slope and a y-intercept. Okay, slope is always the m value, not the x, but the m. And then the b is going to be our y-intercept at 0, whatever the b value is. Okay, so if we look at this graph, we have a y-intercept here, and let's say that's at 0, 2. And then here, we have a point at -3, 0. Okay, if I know this slope, the slope is going to be rise over run, which is going to be up 2 over 3. So this has a slope of 2/3. Okay. Now, how do we find things? Slope and y-intercept. Well, all we have to do is look at what we have here. If it's y is by itself, y is equal to 2x plus 7. My slope is 2. And my y-intercept is going to be at 0, comma. And then what's my b value? 7. Okay. The slope here is the -4. And the y-intercept's at 0, 1/5. Okay, so it's as simple as that if it's in that form. Okay, now it says writing. How are we going to use this in certain type of problems to be able to graph? Okay, it says write an equation with slope. Well, actually, let's do this. Well, let's put in this, and I'll teach you how to graph it. I might just do that. All right, so it says write an equation with the slope 7/3 passing through this point. Okay, well, that is not a y-intercept. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have to find b. Okay, now how do I find b? We're going to put this in for m, this in for x, and this in for y. So we're going to have 1 is equal to 7/3 times 3 plus b. Well, that's going to be 1 is equal to, that's going to be 7 plus b. So b is going to be -6. So my equation is going to be y is equal to the slope, which is 7/3 x, or 7/3, and then the x minus the 6. So y-intercept at 6. That's the first thing you graph. So first graph the y-intercept. So that's going to be at 0, -6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There, it's right there. Okay, now the second thing is use slope to find next point. So the slope is 7/3. So we're going to go here. We're going to go 7/3 up 7 to the right 3. Okay, positive goes up. Okay, so that goes up, negative goes down on the top, and then for the bottom number, positive goes to the right, negative goes to the left. So we're going to go up 7 over 3. 1, 2, 3. And that gives us our line. Okay, so that's using slope-intercept graph. Well, here's an equation. And what we need to do is get it into y is equal to mx plus b. So what are we going to do? We're going to distribute. We're going to get 2x minus 6 is equal to -3y minus 15. Okay, we're going to move, we got to get y by itself. Well, I'm going to leave y there for now. We're going to add 15. We're going to have 2x plus 9 is equal to -3y. And we're going to divide everything by -3. And that's going to leave us with negative 2/3 x minus 3. So that's enough for us to graph. Here is my slope. Here is my y-intercept at 0, -3. So we can go down here to 0, -3. That's our first thing. Second thing, slope. Negative 2/3, which is going to be down 2 to the right 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Always starting from the y-intercept. Ooh, that's horrible. Sorry. So we get to there. Cool. All right, so there's our line. A couple of different ways of graphing. Now, how do we determine if two lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Well, remember, parallel has same slope. Talked about this last time, I believe. Perpendicular has opposite reciprocal. And neither would have neither one of those. Different slopes. Totally. All right, so if you notice, here's y is equal to 3x plus 2. Well, this one has a slope of 3. Okay. Now, let's find the slope of this one. So I need to move the 6 over. So it's going to be negative 2y is equal to negative 6x plus 5 divided by negative 2. Okay. So I'm going to get y is equal to 3x minus 5/2. Notice what's my slope? 3. So they are the same. So these two are parallel. All right, so let's look at the other one. Okay, parallel because they're exactly the same. So notice these two. I need to get y is equal to both of them. So we'll take the first one. So 8y is equal to negative 4x plus 10. Divide by 8. Y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 5/4. All right, so let's take this one. Move the x over, negative 2y is equal to negative 4x plus 21. Divide by negative 2. Y is equal to 2x minus 21 over 2. All right, so this one has a slope of negative 1/2. This one has a slope of 2. Well, they are opposites. Remember, opposites and reciprocals. Well, this is 2 over 1. That's 1 over 2. So when we look at these two, they are opposite reciprocals. So which makes these guys perpendicular. Okay, and that's all we have to do to be able to determine. Now, if they're not the same, and if they're not opposite reciprocals, then it's a neither. They cross somewhere. They intersect at a different place. All right, now, the last part of these takes a little bit more time. Okay, we're going to be using what's called point slope form to help us write equations. Okay, now we're also going to do a couple of these things in different forms. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, it says find a line with the slope of this and goes through this point. So what we're going to do is this is our slope, and we're going to call this x1 and y1. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this information in. So it's going to be y minus a negative 1 is equal to negative 5/3 times x minus 3. Everything's plugged in. So this is going to be x plus, or y plus 1 is equal, and I'm going to go ahead and distribute these. This is going to be negative 5/3 x plus 5. Now, let's go ahead and put these in slope-intercept form, or y is equal to mx plus b. All right, so all I have to do is subtract the 1 over here, and I'm going to get y is equal to negative 5/3 x plus 4. Done. Yeah, that wasn't so bad. All right, but because I had a slope and I had a point, I could work this. Now, if we look at the next one, notice they give us I want to find the line that goes through these 2 points. I don't have a slope. There's no slope. So what do? We have to find a slope. And remember, slope is the change of y's. So that's 3 minus 7 over the change of x's, negative 5 minus 3. Remember, slope, change of y's over the change of x's. All right, so that's going to give me negative 4 over negative 8, which is 1/2. So there's my slope. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug things in. Y minus something is equal to the slope 1/2 times x minus something else. And what are we going to put there? We need to make one of these two. We got to pick a point. Pick a point. Which one? This one or this one? And it doesn't matter. So let's just take P. So we're going to plug P in. So that's going to be a 7 there and a 3 there. Okay? And what we're going to do is solve for y. So first of all, I'm going to distribute. That's going to be 1/2 x minus 3/2. And I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Now, this is going to be simply enough. Y is equal to 1/2 x. And this is going to be 3/2, negative 3/2 plus 14/2, which is going to be 11/2. And you can use your graphing calculator. That helps. Some other calculators do fractions, so you can do it that way too. All right, so that's slope-intercept. Now what we want to do is we're going to take these two answers that we had before. Well, actually, we're just going to take B. We're going to put B in standard form. Now, what's standard form? Standard form is this. AX plus BY is equal to C. X and Y are now on the same side. A, B, and C are integers. You're supposed to know what integers are, but it's just, dot, 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 -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, dot, dot, dot. Okay, but A must be positive when you're done. All right, so we're going to take this equation, and it's very simple to do. We're going to first understand that integers are not fractions, so no fractions. All right, so, well, okay, let's get rid of fractions first. Let's multiply everything by 2. Okay, I'm going to move the x over. That's negative x plus 2y is equal to 11. So now they're all integers, but the only problem is a has to be positive. So I'm going to multiply everything by -1, which is going to give me a final answer of x minus 2y is equal to -11, and that is in standard form. Okay, and we have to know how to do both standard form and slope-intercept form. All right, so I've got 2 more problems. They each have something a little bit different. All right, so the first one is find a line through this point and parallel to this line and put it in slope-intercept form. Well, 2 ways we can do it. First, though, slope-intercept form, I need to know slope. Okay, now it says the line we're trying to find is parallel to this line. Well, this line has a slope of 8. So the slope I want to use is 8. And then they give us this point. And I really feel like the easiest thing to do is to use point slope. What we did before, which is y minus a number is equal to 8 times x minus another number, and we're going to use those 2 points, those 2 numbers. We're going to put the 2 here and the 1 there. We're going to distribute. I see, and then we're going to move the 2 over by adding. We're going to get y is equal to ax minus 6, and there is slope-intercept form. All right, so last one is we're going to find a line that's going through, this point and it's perpendicular to this line again. But this time we're going to put it in standard form. All right, so remember, we said before that's my slope. So I need to know what the perpendicular slope is going to be. Well, if the slope is 8 or 8 over 1, the perpendicular slope is going to be negative 1/8. All right, so we're going to go back to point slope form. I'll write it one more time here. You always go back and get it. Do not have to memorize it. I'll give it to you. I'm going to plug this thing in. So it's going to be negative 1/8. And then we're going to take this point here. So we're going to put a 5 here. That's my y, because this is x1, y1. And this is going to be a negative 2, which is going to give me actually a positive 2. And we're going to distribute. Y minus 5 is equal to negative 1/8 x minus 2 over 8. Now, if you look, I could reduce that. However, I'm not going to reduce it. And that's because we're going to put things in standard form, which means no fractions. So we're going to get rid of fractions right away. All right. So, and by not reducing it, all I have to do is multiply everything by 8. So we're going to get 8y minus 40 is equal to negative x minus 2. All right, we're going to move the x over and the 40 over, which is going to give me x plus 8y, add 40, which will be 38. And there is standard form because everything's whole numbers, and that a value is a positive 1. So that is in standard form. Okay? All right, so that is the end of this section. I hope this all helps you, and I wish you good luck, and we'll be doing 2-5 here in a